Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the Swingtime Golf Show. Now, Robert, as we've discovered, the development of golf in Mauritius stands at a precipice of potential international and economic success on all fronts of the industry. This noted success will greatly rely on the cooperation of all sectors, particularly business, golfing institutions, golfing bodies, hotel resorts, and local golfers.
Yeah, right.
With this in mind, our guests tonight include Dr. Yusuf Ishmael, a senior economist at BAI, Mr. Luke Baxter-Keating, the chairman of SETCHA, amateur golfer and also a member of the Mauritius Golfing Federation, and notable amateur golfer Rashad Perdasi. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
Now, Mr. Keating, tell us about your company. When was it established, and what are its core functions?
Well, I've got two aspects there. I'm first of all managing director of MECOM. MECOM is a holding company of SETCHA.
Okay.
MECOM providing services and equipment to the industry of agriculture, industrial and construction. And SETCHA, of course, now specialize in providing services and equipment to the golf industry.
Okay.
Which is our main business there for Mauritius and Seychelles, and some soon elsewhere.
Right. You participated and were the proud winner of the second Swingtime Corporate Golf Challenge recently in May. What was your experience of this event?
Well, it was a fantastic experience. That was nearly an astonishment for me to win, but I must say that thanks to Jeremy, who played very well. And that brought us, of course, to Bern in Switzerland.
Right. By winning the second Swingtime Corporate Golf Challenge and your trip to Bern, and you were also the first prize winner in the net men's category. What was your experience of that like, Swingtime taking you to Switzerland?
Well, you know, first of all, at my age already, it's fantastic. And I've been to Switzerland, but I never played golf there. But being there as a guest of Swingtime, with all the partners of Swingtime, who have been very Swiss people. That is, gentle, accommodating us so beautifully. The golf course and people there, just miracle for me. I wish I win again.
How do you compare the golf courses that you discovered in Switzerland as to that year in Mauritius?
Well, it was different because this golf course was very hilly and unexpected for us. Beautifully maintained. Actually, I congratulate there the people who maintain that course. Different than the Mauritius, but beautiful, most enjoyable.
Coming back to the Swingtime Corporate Golf Challenge, do you think that the corporate golf tournament concept in Mauritius is supported enough in the context that Mauritius is a business hub here in the Indian Ocean?
No, not yet enough. The corporate, there's been a first trial about 2 or 3 years ago by Lilosef, I think. They tried for 2 years and they stopped. Then you came with a corporate. I would say the first was a very small one. The second one, a better one, much better. But the concept of corporate in Mauritius is more private than, I would say, official. And this is, I think, something missing in Mauritius.
Well, how did you experience then the involvement of corporate networking at the second Swingtime Corporate Golf Challenge this year?
It was a mixture of corporate, much better one, and plenty of reunion people and Swiss and French. That was most enjoying because you meet people you don't know of, and so all this was an experience which we are not accustomed in Mauritius.
Also creating a platform for international business.
Fantastic. We met people. I'm already in contact with some Swiss people that I met there, and they are coming in Mauritius soon. So just for business as well, fantastic.
Now, in Switzerland, you also played with the Swingtime adopter golfers while you were there. What are your views of this development program?
Well, just fantastic. I wish that what Swingtime launched in Mauritius as an adopter golfer be spread out. And I think that it will not be able to spread unless there's money. So to get money, companies, firm, government should get involved and have budgets. Budgets that should be put at the disposal of the Mauritius Federation and then to democratize the game in Mauritius only way.
Do you think that local companies in Mauritius are effectively supporting the development of golfers, like Murat, for example, in terms of his achievements internationally in a business setting, and bringing that same kind of interaction and support here in Mauritius?
No. I think it's straight away no, because look, if we move from golf to athletics, if we have got Buckland and Milazar, I would say that they have been brought by themselves.
Right.
And these young guys who've been backed up by Swingtime, it's unique. There is no such sponsoring of anyone in terms of golf, and I would even say in terms of single player. You've got a team, you get sponsorship. But when you are a single player like tennis, squash, or whatever, not at all, I would say.
What do you think of the Swingtime concept overall?
Well, first of all, again, it's unique. You did something very special, not usual for Mauritian. We are not used to something which is coming Mauritius and international. It has not been understood by many Mauritians yet, but you can only hope that it will be understood when you keep on going it.
Right.
You've got your program at the TV, you've got your Swingtime competition, you've got the international competition with Swingtime, you've got the Adopt the Golfer. So all this is bound, and hopefully, I hope it will continue, and it will be accepted by the Mauritian community as a good example.
I think that there is a bit of a perception that Swingtime has presented itself, or a perception that some of the local Mauritian golfers or bodies find that Swingtime is competition, which is not the case. In your opinion then, also as a member of the Golfing Federation, what further assistance do you think that Swingtime can lend into promoting golf further?
Well, first of all, when you launch something, everyone watches you and look, and probably automatically criticize and saying, well, yes, they want to take hold of whatever, which is not the case, I'm sure. I think that what you have done, you should continue, and you should have a sort of a clear understanding with the Mauritius Golf Federation and expanding your views, because it's the only way is to get people together.
Swingtime, as part of the Adopt a Golfer program, will also be instituting a PGA accredited rating as part of the development program for our adopted golfers. Is there anything like this right now within Mauritius as far as an accredited PGA rating, handicap rating?
No. There is none such, but the Federation is working very hard on that. There will be no future in our golf organization if we don't have a slope rating national.
Well, Swingtime, together with its expertise and technical know-how, in your opinion, how can Swingtime lend assistance to the Mauritian Golfing Federation in realizing a national standardized handicap rating for the country here?
Well, I'll give you an answer right now. You are welcome, because we are trying, and it's not very easy.
Right.
It costs money. We are still hoping to get by September latest final answers from the French.
Right.
But if Swingtime can bring assistance, I can tell you when do we meet with the president and the committee? Is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? And we sit and we make a deal.
Absolutely.
Because our objective at the Federation, the president is working very hard on that. We need by December to have our slope rating finalized. There is no such golfing if we don't have it.
And it's also important in line with the development of golf in Mauritius as an Olympic sport.
For sure. If people come from abroad, they must have a rate. With what handicap they play. No, this is the only weakness as at today for the golfing.
What are your views in taking golf further in terms of the resources we have available to us?
Well, our resource is limited. Don't forget that our resource is hotels. We don't have public golf. So
which is another important thing to work on.
We are limited to the generosity of the golf clubs.
So if we're thinking in terms of taking golf further for everybody in Mauritius, first and foremost would obviously be a handicap system instituted. And secondly, to back that up, we need a public golf course.
Exactly. No doubt about it. This is how I say, when do we meet with the president of the Golf Federation, and when do we make a plan?
Right.
I'm sure that you will be most welcome.
I'm sure our viewers would also like to see this happen as swiftly as possible.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keating. This has been very insightful, I think, for our viewers as well, to get to know what are the real obstacles, how we need to move ahead, and how we need to develop golf for everybody here in Mauritius.
I'm sure. Thank you.
When we come back from a commercial break, Robert will be speaking to Mr. Richard Padassi, a notable amateur golfer here in Mauritius.
Property and real estate, construction, finance, investment, retail and wholesale, human resource and recruitment, sports and leisure, tourism, education and hospitality. Market Info Direct. Our business is helping yours to succeed.
So back in the studio, and now we'll talk to Mr. Richard Padassi. Mr. Padassi, how did you start playing golf?
Good evening, Robert. Well, for me, my connection with golf dated back since 1966 when I joined the Gymkhana Club as a caddy. I spent some time there, not really playing golf, but caddying and looking around, observing the golfers. And in such a way, I learned the game of golf. When I got an employment in the KMG group, especially the soap and allied industries, and I was lucky there because my boss, Mr. Ashraf Karamji, everybody know him, he's very keen golf and passionate. So he's the one who inducted me to the Gymkhana Club, to join the club as a member. And then we started to play golf. And with all his assistance and comprehension and support in all ways. So I paved my way little by little through the years to be on the top level in Mauritius among all the top golfers. So this is the way I started my golf.
And last year you were the winner of the Swingtime Mauritius Open. What was your experience of this tournament?
It was fantastic that day because especially for the Swingtime first edition Open, I have not trained at all for 3 months. I have not got time to play. Then I said, this is open because I used to play the major tournaments. I know how to focus on a big competition because I like to play under pressure. This is the main thing. Most golfers, maybe they are afraid of playing under pressure in big tournaments. But I learned how to maintain myself, control myself.
And how do you cope with pressure?
Well, because
you can scare a golfer with this word.
No, really. Because golf is playing the mind, you know. You have to target everything, keep in the present every time. You don't try something you never tried before. You just play your game, but play safe. This is what I can say. Play safe and be realistic on the course. Don't try anything you can't do. So this is the way I play my golf. Always I'm playing like this. So I pay my way every hole. I had a planning for every hole. I just go and, okay, I don't take risk.
We've just mentioned that you were the winner of the Swingtime Mauritius Open. What other tournaments have you won?
I won 4 Opens on the national level. Okay, 3 at Belmar, Legends. And then comes the Swingtime Golf Open. But apart from that, I won, let's say, around 7 or 8 Gymkhana Club Championship. Even at Dodo Club, I won the Open. I have no idea how many, because recently I started to play only the major tournaments. So I keep on winning less now.
Yeah. Richard, you have a son who also plays golf. Ridwan is a Swingtime adopted golfer, and as part of his training and development, he was sent to India to receive coaching and observe the PGTL. And as a golfer of 24 years yourself, how do you find his development in the Swingtime Adopted Golfer program?
Well, thanks. I would like to thank Swingtime for this program of adopted golfer. And I'm lucky enough also that my son has followed my path and been adopted by Swingtime. So he's also a passionate golfer. Yeah, I got it in the blood probably. So without real training, he just observed me playing and he came into this game and was adopted luckily. And for him, it was a great experience to be in India with his colleague and to watch professionals there in the tournament and get good advice from the Indian pros. So that inspired him a bit more to change his attitude, his way of playing and all these things. It's good because if only play with locals, they don't have that attitude. They have to change. And meeting with guys like professionals, even in Mauritius or abroad, this will help them to how to maintain on the golf course and how to behave when playing. And it helped him a lot.
And what do you think of this initiative of Swingtime to bring along the adopted golfer?
Yeah, that's a great thing that Swingtime is doing right actually for the youngsters, bringing golf. It's more accessible to young players. And hope in the future we can see the local challenge upcoming into international level.
Furthermore, Rashad, do you think enough is done to develop golf among the youth?
Not actually. Now is the start. We have lots of time, but it's never too late. Thanks to Swingtime for making this a success.
Yeah.
You know?
But with your rich experience, Rashad, how do you see the future of golf in Mauritius in terms of what Swingtime is doing?
I'm confident.
Donc, ne manquez pas les prochains conseils. Nous avons aussi, comme vous le savez, le programme Adopte et Golfeur qui passe chaque vendredi sur la MBC TV. Et justement, avant de parler avec notre autre invité, nous allons marquer une pause avant de revenir en studio.
With our finger on the pulse of activity throughout our business sectors, we at Market Info Direct are leaders in dominating the business environment. As specialists, we facilitate all aspects of these sectors with a high standard of professional service. One key, one solution. Market Info Direct. Our business is helping yours to succeed.
Welcome back again, viewers, to the Swingtime Golf Show, where we talk the business of golf. In the business component of tonight's show, I'm speaking to Dr. Yusuf Ismail, a senior economist at BAI. Good evening, Dr. Ismail, and thank you for joining us. Now, why do some people believe that a mixed economic system solves basic economic problems?
Well, it's a question of risk. There's a proverb that says you should not put all your eggs in one basket. I strongly believe that if you have a mixed economy, you're less exposed to risk. And it becomes natural. Every country starts with one line of business, or any business starts with one line of business. Eventually, diversify to have this spread in the economy. So you manage your risk. And also, have a diversified or mixed market as well helps the country, but also helps in enterprise in the future.
If we're talking in terms of Mauritius, what are the advantages of a free market economy?
The opposite would be a controlled state, and we've even seen, if I want to extrapolate, look at China, was a very closed state, and now becoming state capitalism. Right. I think free market is the best option that we have. What it creates is you cannot hold people when it comes to entrepreneurship. What a free economy allows people to do is to innovate, to become entrepreneur, and to succeed. And this is what creates value. And I believe that in a free market, there's always scope for improvement all the time.
Now, I've got a bit of a tricky question for you. Who should run the economy, economists or the politicians?
I think you need both. And in the world, you have good economists, you have bad economists, you have good politician and bad politician. I think it's good as a politician to have a good economic background. That helps a lot. And at the same time, you need an economist with a good political background as well. I understand what's happening in politics. But that said, both of them are trained to do something fundamental to look in the future. This is key to the training of an economist, but also a politician. I think what both are bad at doing is communicating. I think if you get two economists together, they always communicate in their own language, a lot of jargon. I think politicians do the same thing as well. What is good for them to do is apart from having this training to look in the future, but communicate with the people. That's key, I think, to the success of running a country.
Now, what are your views on the tourist use of natural resources versus sustainable development, particularly here in Mauritius, where the tourism industry is so integrated within the overall economic development of the country?
I mean, the debate about natural resources has always been a key question when it comes to tourism development. But I don't see that as a problem. If you look at the textile industry, they all need the resources. I think it's what is key is allocation of resources, but sustainable use of resources. Wherever you go in the world, there's always a criticism that tourism use more water, use more energy, but it's not different to a textile industry. If you look at the textile industry, use the same amount of water, maybe more energy for that factor. But I think it's important for all of us to realize that if you look at the country like Mauritius, we are endowed with sunshine and seaside. If we don't use our resources, we will not be able to progress. But what is key is how do we allocate these resources wisely, efficiently, to create value for the customers who are coming to the island, but also trying to get everybody involved in terms of using the natural resources.
And of course not neglecting the sustainable integrity of Mauritius as a whole and what it has to offer for its own people.
Absolutely. And what you see nowadays, there's a lot of consumers, tourists for example, are looking for this key area, sustainable development, sustainable tourism. But I think I'd like to add a small point here. Very often people are confused between the two words, ecotourism and sustainable tourism. They're completely different terms. Ecotourism means just something green, something localized. But if you've got sustainable tourism, it's much bigger. It looks at the holistic approach of development of the country, the social aspect. It looks at transport miles by tourists as well. It is a much bigger concept.
By becoming a business hub in the Indian Ocean region, has Mauritius embarked on an exclusive service-orientated approach to its economic development? If I think particularly in terms of hospitality, finance, real estate and information technology also that's been outsourced internationally and localized here in Mauritius?
I don't think so. I think it's a part of progress. We start with sugarcane as the pillar of the economy. Moving to textile, moving in services, it's a natural progress. I think if you look at countries such as the US, where 80% of the GDP of their economy is run in services. If you go to England as well, about 75 to 80% are services. I think there's nothing wrong when it comes to services. I think what is key is what type of services you're creating, and also what value you're adding to these services, and how diversified these services are.
Do you think that it is then economically viable to have a economy entirely based on the service sector?
You can. I think you can, but again, the key is not to have, it's not about services, it's having mixed services. Again, spreading your risk on different sectors of services, so we cannot rely especially on one.
Many indicate that the Mauritian economy escaped the global crisis. Within the global context, is this accurate to say?
Partly true, because our banking system is a very robust system. The stress test we have in the bank is very, very strong. So in a way, we were not affected by the toxic debt internally in the country, as many other countries. But what has happened, the crisis led to an economic crisis, which then affected with a time lag the country. But what has happened over time is the crisis, financial crisis, spill over, and then we see the new crisis, the EU crisis, where not people who are in debt, but now the state is in debt, debt that they can't repay. A simple proverb would be, if I owe you 10 rupees, it is my problem. If I owe you 1,000,000 rupees, it becomes your problem. So what's been happening in Europe is a problem of the whole European countries, the countries such as Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, all owing a lot of money, but not outside. Which is, in a way, quite lucky, because if we were to owe a lot of money to other countries, it would have been a global crisis. But they're owing money to countries such as Germany and France and England, and they have to repay that. So the euro, in a way, is in crisis. But because our market is exposed, like I said to you earlier, we need to have a diversified market as well. Our market is solely based on the European market. If you look at exposure in terms of the euros, I think 75% of all exporting companies deal in euros. Textile, 65% of all our textile exported in euros. Sugar, 95% of our sugar exported in euros. BPOs, 60-65% exported in euros. So that said, if the euro is taking a hit, obviously we will take a hit as well.
Of course. The sport of golf has become synonymous as the leisure activity of choice for decision makers, leaders of industry and business, and also a multi-billion-dollar industry in its own right. Do you believe that Mauritius is actively participating on this platform as a conduit to economic development with regards to investment and sustainable development?
I think we've started well. I mean, if you look at the Fédération du Golf, starting now, look at the Swingtime, trying to market Mauritius as a golf destination, it's the beginning. But we've got a long way to go. It's important that we make the destination attractive. And we've seen, very often we've said, let's diversify from Europe. Right. In terms of our market. What is it? That's a great opportunity. Why can't we have the first All-African Golf Championship here? Absolutely. Why can't we have an Asian Championship here? We've seen countries such as Portugal, Bermuda, for example, all expanding in terms of the golf destination. They become our competitors. Right. But we also know that the number of Chinese millionaires, number of Indian millionaires are all waiting, and golf is a game of, it's a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And everybody who aspire, when you go up your career ladder, it becomes natural that you start playing golf. Right. It's a golf of networking. It's a game of networking. A game that gives you confidence. A game that allows you to meet people of your own peer. You can only market by having good golfers here in Mauritius itself. And I'm glad to hear that there are a lot of effort in our youth. It's key to make China a great destination for golfers. We're talking about the products. Yeah. All our resorts are geared for the tourists that come from Europe. The products are there. But why not offer the Indian rich men, industrialists,
I think it's also about creating a new paradigm or thought of marketing Mauritius and to who is out there with a disposable income. I think it's also very important in the light of shifting global trends economically as well as tourist trends as well.
Absolutely. And Mauritius throughout history has been a key when it comes to its geographical position, strategic. And that hasn't gone away. It's actually accentuating even more. If you look at the interest of French on the island with Trombley, if you look at the US influence of Mauritius with Diego Garcia, if you look at the Chinese now influence with Jinfei or ex-Chanli, if you look at the Japanese coming for tuna fishing, if you look at, for example, the Indian always seen as the next cousin, all these people have an interest in looking at Mauritius as a base, and hence the success of Arias, where people are coming here with the belief that they will expand into Africa. I think when you come to golf, you're attracting the cream of investors come to these countries, and they have a lifestyle. And if you can give them the chance to actually integrate golf, the lifestyle, Mauritius as a destination, I think it's a winning package.
Hence the Swingtime Corporate Golf Challenge concept.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ishmael. This has been very insightful. Thank you, viewers, for joining us again. I'd like to thank our guest, Dr. Ishmael, Senior Economist at BAI, notable Mauritian golfer, Mr. Rashad Perdasi, and Mr. Luke Baxter-Keating, Chairman of SECHA, MEMCOM, as well as the member of the Mauritian Golf Federation. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Viewers, don't forget to tune into the Swingtime Golf Show next week, where we continue to discuss the business of golf, as well as our Friday Swingtime Adopt a Golfer Golf Tip Show, enriching your technique for golf.